Sharp King here, coming at you with another episode from ChooseYourRelationships.com. Off of Love Can't Wait, which you can find on Amazon.com. How do you deal with selfish women? And this is something I've had to deal with in the past, and I just didn't know any better. There's a lot of selfish women out here, and living in the United States of America, we've been conditioned to behave and do things, and I just didn't know any better, man. I made so many mistakes when I was younger, and I didn't really have anybody around me to tell me anything differently once I left home, because the other guys around me, they were doing the same thing, and sometimes even worse. What you have to understand is a lot of these women they set the bar high for guys. The bar is high as hell. Damn. It's like they got a lot of these young girls, they have a lot of dreams. And that's the difference between the older women and the younger women. Is the older women have realized once they got, say, 45 or 50, or maybe a little after 40, a lot of them realize that a lot of them dreams that them young girls be talking about or they want, a lot of them dreams is lies. The young girls, a lot of them feel like they shouldn't really have to bring much to the table but sex. But I always say if sex is all you got, well, damn it, we ain't supposed to be together. And I used to take a girl out to like a bar and grill or restaurant or something like that. And sometimes I'll be like, hey, I got the first round of drinks, right? So she like, oh, okay, whatever. So when it's time for the second round, I'm looking at her like, you don't get the second round? She won't get it. So that right there, pretty much told me everything I needed to know about her. And that's pretty much the last time I got with those type of chicks. And then there's another time I remember that one chick, she kind of flipped out on me because she called me at work and she left a voice message with some sob story about how she had a horrible day and she want to sit down and talk to somebody. So I got off work at 11 o'clock at night and went to see her at some local shitty bar near her house, and which I didn't have to do, but I went anyway because she was sounding all dramatic and shit. So I went to see her, and she wanted me to buy her the drinks. Now I came to see her. I left my job now. I didn't, it takes me from where I used to work, it takes me 10 minutes to get home. To me to get to her location, that's about 25 more minutes. And when I get there, I gotta buy the drinks, and I've taken time out of my schedule after work to come see you. And when I get there, she's waiting on me to buy the drinks. And then not only is she waiting on me to buy the drinks, she flips out on me because I didn't know something about her. So she was like, yo, what are you doing here? What I'm doing talking to you? Why are we even friends? So I looked at my glass of beer that I had on the bar, which was like a half a glass. And she looked at me and she knew after I finished my beer, this was the last time she was going to ever see me in her life. And I haven't seen her since. Because I look at it like this. I'm taking time out of my life after work, which I worked 8 hours. And I had to get up in the morning at 8 o'clock for class. And then I'm going to come down here and you're going to flip out on me. I'm like, fuck you. You know? You got some women are just like this. And a lot of them times, most of these women are raised like this. Because they're 9 times out of 10, their mother ain't shit. This is where all this nonsense comes from. And a lot of these women, you hear them all the time. These women have a hard time getting a man, keeping a man. They'll be whining, complaining about how they don't have a boyfriend. And what the problem is a lot of these guys won't wife them up because they believe in taking. They don't really want to invest anything or put in anything. They feel like if they look good, dress good, that's all it takes. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them think like this. And a lot of them, I've met, they in their mind, they look at it like this. I got the pussy. It's a privilege for you to be with me. So all I got to do is show up and you're supposed to roll out the red carpet for me. A lot of them think like this. And then you got a lot of guys that are suckers. There's simps out here today. They'll fly the girl in, get the hotel room, pay for the food. They'll pay for every goddamn thing. So I told a lot of guys, no, don't do that shit. That bitch got to pay for something. Fuck that. Let her pay for her transportation. Let her pay for the ticket. And you get the room and the food. But she got to pay for something. There's no free lunch, goddammit. There ain't nobody special until proven otherwise. I made a lot of these mistakes in the beginning because I just didn't know any better. But I believe in everyone has to make an effort. There's no free lunch. If that's your woman, your wife or whatever, and y'all been together for a long time, that's different. But I'm talking about somebody that you just met. Somebody that you just getting to know. Someone that you're still in the process of figuring out if you want to be around this person long term or you want this person to be in your inner circle. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about I'm not talking about your wife or somebody you live with. I'm talking about somebody that you're still in the process of getting to know. So, a lot of these women are crazy, man. And then a lot of these women will use sex as kind of like their bargaining chip. They'll sex will be somewhat of a they'll manipulate the guy. They'll act like they're gonna give him some pussy, or they might give him some pussy in return for sexual favors or paying bills or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Just like, it's crazy, but at the end of the day, all relationships, it's all about giving. But the problem is a lot of people don't like to reciprocate. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, either you're an asset or a liability. And a lot of these motherfuckers out here are liabilities. But they don't see it that way. And they don't believe in a win-win situation. Because a lot of people are broken out here. Because they've been beat up through life. And then a lot of them have just been raised to be a certain type of way. This is why I'm not really, this is why I don't feel like all black males, I feel like a lot of black males shouldn't date women from other cultures, or shouldn't date white women so much. Because what happens is a lot of these women that I've met see us as prey. Because especially white people, especially white women. See, a lot of white people know that a lot of black people and a lot of non-white people really don't know what the hell's going on out here socially, but even sometimes politically, right? So they'll try to suck the blood out of us like vultures and take advantage of us, sometimes even sexually, sometimes even financially, or any type of way that they see satisfaction for the most part. But, you know, you got some people, some guys, you know, they just don't care. You know, as long as they get into sex, they think that's like, it's worth it. But if all you get into sex, it ain't worth it. You need to cut that off. You need to raise the bar. You can't accept that. You know what I'm saying? You can't. That's just not a good look. That's not a good move. That's not, especially it's not in your best interest for the relationship to be like that. That's like a transaction. That's like prostitution. You know what I'm saying? If you're exchanging sexual favors for something in return. And I met a lot of women that were like this, but you got some women that are bold. I remember one time I met this chick at, I met this chick from offline. Yeah, I remember this shit. I met her from offline, and she stayed out probably like 20 minutes outside of Charlotte. It's a small town. I've never even been there, you know. Small town called like Spencer. Small town. I never. This is my first time going out there, right? And I think I met her at the mall the first time, but once I got to know her, I was like, that's when I went to her house, which turned out to be her mother's house and not her house, because she lied. And then she started calling me rich boy and all this shit or whatever. And then when I went to her house, I realized this motherfucker is dirt poor. You know what I'm saying? It's like the trailer park is like right across the street. You know, and she's a white chick too. The trailer park was right across the street. And she's dirt poor, man. I mean, this town, Spencer, they only got 2 policemen and just like small little like mom and pop stores and 1 gas station. That's all they got. And a McDonald's. That's all this town got. I mean, this is a little ass town. It's probably less than 1,000 people in this town. And then what happened is our day to meet up was always Sunday. And this is what she used to do. She was slick. She used to always say, hey, you know, in the beginning we used to meet up, and she used to drive to the mall and meet and drive on her own, right? So, but after a while, she wanted me to come and pick her up. So I was like, you know, fucking, all right, cool, whatever. See, by this time we was already fucking before I started to pick her up. And after probably like 6 months go by, on this particular Sunday, I couldn't pick her up because I was fucking with another bitch, right? So I told her this when she called. This motherfucker flipped the fuck out. And she went on this rant talking about we usually get up every Sunday and we usually go eat or whatever. So this motherfucker got pissed off because I didn't pick her up because she wanted to go eat. So it was about the food more than anything else. So what happens is if I would have taken, as long as I kept taking her out to eat every Sunday, I could always get the pussy. So I was like, once I really caught on to how she was, I cut her off, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I just didn't like that shit. It was bullshit. Because she was dirt poor. You know what I'm saying? And she wasn't an asset. She didn't really know anybody. She didn't even come to Charlotte unless, I don't know, unless I came to pick her up. Other than that, she never came to Charlotte. She just stayed out there in that little small redneck town where she was from, you know. And she didn't have anything to bring to the table but sex. And a lot of these women, they're the biggest whiners and complainers, you know. So you got to be careful with these type chicks, and just make sure, you know, at the end of the day, when someone leaves you, wherever they move on, get older and move on in life, they should be a better version of themselves. If people aren't adding to your life in some type of way, whether it's introduce you to somebody, whether it's giving you some good words, some good game, or reciprocating in some type of way, you need to cut them off. Sometimes you might need to cut family off. Sometimes you might need to find some new friends, man. You know, because a lot of people just aren't ready. A lot of people just don't see the value of friendship. A friendship to most people is just a hangout buddy. Someone you go to the bar with and drink and party and fuck and I'll call you, see you the next time. That's what a friendship is to most people. Most people don't see the value of friendship. Most people set the bar very low for themselves. They set the bar high for everybody else, but it's low for them because you're supposed to make their life easier. You're supposed to entertain them. You're supposed to make them feel good about themselves. But they don't really care about themselves. They don't really like what they see when they look in the mirror. But they want you to like them. They don't really like being around themselves. But they want you to be around them. And that's the selfishness that lies in a lot of these people. Their thinking is backwards. But, hey, you know, it is what it is. There's some people you just gotta let go. And then you got a lot of these women, they're very persistent. They don't give up that easily. Because there's a woman I still know today. I've known her for 15 years. And she's still calling. And I never answer the telephone. Because I know if I answer, she always wants something. I mean, I'm talking like every time, yo. It's like she try to be slick with it too. She'll say, "Hey, how you doing? I haven't heard from you in a while. How you doing? How your family? How's your friend? What's going on up there? Where you at?" And then then after that she'll be like, "Hey, I need a favor." You know, she's slick with it. But, I mean, she just ain't shit. That's why I don't answer the telephone, you know. And her mom ain't shit either. I met her mom a couple times. And after meeting her mom, I said, okay, I know why your daughter ain't shit. Because you ain't shit. And, you know, these women, the scary thing is they think they the shit. They think they're a good woman. A lot of them think this. That's the scary thing. And they think they're better than you. And they think they know more than you. But at the same time, they have no proof, a concept. They haven't gotten any results. But at the same time, they still think they're better than you. And then a lot of these women secretly are on that narcotic too. A lot of them are. I can't say the numbers of as far as the women I know, but a lot of them are on the narcotic. A lot of them are. They don't do it all the time, but they hit it from time to time. But I know the symptoms of people that have drug habits, so it's usually the same across the board. But there's a few women that I've met that had a good reason for being selfish, and it was because it had a lot to do with them being on that narcotic and them being raised a certain type of way. So if you like what you heard, check out my blog, chooseyourrelationships.com, and subscribe to my channel. Until next time, Sharp Game is out. Peace.